Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Callista, and if you're new here, I like to talk about spirituality, self-growth. I am going to be incorporating topics like this in the future just because I think there's a lot of cultural and societal things that I think are important, and I just have opinions, okay? As some of you may have noticed, if you've followed me for a while now, I'd posted a video that I have since taken down called Why I Started OnlyFans and Why I Quit. The reason for taking this down is because I have since been getting into different aspects of myself. I've changed my opinion on it, and the Western society and culture that I have been raised in and all the things that I've been led to believe as a woman. My last video, I just don't feel like I was putting out the right message. Also, getting insights and opinions from other people and people that I have since been looking up to. I've also been reflecting on my own personal opinions on this topic. My last video about self-realization is a little bit more into that topic of deconstructing yourself and your beliefs and really taking a look at the whole picture instead of just the one viewpoint that you have. Like I said in that video, when you rediscover things, you rediscover what you have been brought up to believe. We have been told lies, men and women, but with this particular topic, mostly women, because women are mainly the ones doing sex work. I took my last video down because I don't want other women to think that doing OnlyFans is the right thing to do. I still am not judgmental, of course, and I don't think anyone should be giving these people hate or shame. That is because I feel like that's not the right way to go about getting people to change and realize, in this case, what they're doing is wrong. And of course, some people that are for sex work and OnlyFans and stuff like that won't like my opinions, and you know, it's just a very controversial topic, if you will, but I don't think that shaming and hating people for their opinions is the right way to go about having a real discussion about it. You do you, but if I can change some thoughts on this matter, then I would like to. I don't think that I did that in my last video. I think it's great if you change your mind and you have an open mind and you're able to change your beliefs and your opinions based on arguments that other people make that make sense to you. And that's why I think that people talking about stuff like this is really important, because you never know what someone might say that might just really turn the gears for you. I do want to start making videos pertaining to topics involving our society and culture, because the media and propaganda is giving the wrong message, and I do believe that it's destroying our lives. Now, a big thing that I think a lot of women like myself have been led to believe is that the action of doing OnlyFans or anything similar is female empowerment, and that getting money is the only thing that matters. In my last OnlyFans video, I did mention that I thought OnlyFans was a way to express myself, my sexuality, and female power, reclaiming your body, and whatever. That's all bullshit, and I want to talk about it. I also want to mention that I was greedy and looking past my morals and values for the purpose of getting money, and yoga has taught me that greed is one example of how our desires can turn self-destructive and create an inner hell for us due to our dissatisfaction of our unfulfilled desires and attachment to the material world. I will be getting into that in another video. I also just want to preface that I'm not blaming the culture and society I was brought up in on me deciding to do OnlyFans. I do want to take full responsibility for what I did, and did make a conscious and thought out decision, and it ultimately was a choice that I made. I'm not trying to play victim. I'm not trying to receive validation or attention. I think it's important to have a certain level of self-awareness, and it takes strength and courage to come out and say that you fucked up, and I fucked up. If you fucked up too, I encourage you to look at yourself in the eye and be honest with yourself. Come clean about it, and you'll be happier and more at peace. I'm not trying to speak for all other OnlyFans creators or just people in sex work and the porn industry in general, but I find it hard to believe that deep down, a lot of these other girls don't feel the same way that I did when I was doing it. Especially in the beginning, I think that the uncomfortable and wrong, immoral feelings that you do feel when you're doing it is present, and it is disregarded for the reward we'll receive for doing it. That was also in some other clips that I saw doing my own research when I was getting into it. That is literally your gut feeling telling you that what you're doing is wrong and that you shouldn't be doing it. The way I was feeling was wrong, selfish, and degrading. There's a false sense of self-worth and the thought of, I'm doing this because I'm sexualized, people want me, I'm hot and attractive, blah, blah, blah. And you think that you're the one benefiting and getting rich because people are buying your shit. In reality, you're letting yourself be taken advantage of and sexualizing yourself, objectifying yourself. It's not other people that are doing it to you and therefore you're doing it because of that. It's because you're sexualizing yourself and turning yourself into an object. What you give is what you get. People are willing to bend their morals and values for money, just like I did, and it is going against yourself and God. And this is all my opinion, so don't come at me for having an opinion. People in my last video were not very kind. They wanted to just attack me as a person instead of actually coming up with an actual argument for the most part. Anyways, a lot of girls will also say that this external validation that they get from their fans is what makes them feel better about themselves, and that it's strong, encouraging, and such an amazing thing to do. That's not sustainable, and I personally feel like you need some self-love, and you need to be able to give that to yourself, or else you're not actually going to be able to feel that and have that come from a place of yourself. There's comments of girls saying that, oh, I felt so insecure and like all these things I hated about myself and my body, and then I started doing this and it really gave me the confidence. It goes both ways, that you shouldn't let other people's negative perception of you make or break you, as well as if they have very positive and affirming perceptions of you. So this is a possibility that at some point you're gonna quit OnlyFans or whatever. You won't be getting that validation and praise anymore, and your self-worth is going to plummet if you've never actually been the one to fully accept and love yourself and give yourself that validation. The whole concept and act of doing OnlyFans is mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually traumatizing, because deep down we all just want to give and receive love, and this isn't love. Objectifying yourself and your body is not empowering, and there's girls crying about how they really want a serious relationship that's actually fulfilling and sustainable, but of course, a good man or woman won't want someone that gives away their most vulnerable and sacred parts of themselves for a pretty penny. I've said it before that sex is sacred between two people, and it builds a bond and connection deeper than anything you could get with someone who just wants to get off. These models want families of their own, but you want to raise a child and have them know that this is what you do for work, and they'll think that it's okay. Not to mention how many OnlyFans girls have been rejected by society, which I do think is very heartbreaking and shouldn't be the case even for these girls, because they still deserve love, and it's actually a cry out for love, I think, for love and acceptance. I'm just trying to say that this isn't the path for a truly, deeply meaningful and fulfilling life. You can get all the material things you want in the world, new car, mansion, and travel anywhere you want, whenever you want, but at the cost of yourself, your life, and your soul. These girls become depressed, separated, and lonely, and it's really sad to see, because I personally think what people really want is happiness and inclusion and acceptance just the way they are. But they think that this is the right way to go about it because they're looking for that external validation when they really just need to accept themselves. I truly believe that deep down these girls are screaming at themselves for doing what they're being asked to do, show and provide to their fans, but deliberately ignore themselves. Of course, you need boundaries. But for example, there's one girl who slept with 100 men in one day for OnlyFans content and money. At some point, people are going to want more and more, and they'll pay for more and more. That's when you bend your morals and values. On top of all of this, the men that come buy content on your OnlyFans are not the men you would want to engage in sexual relations with. That gets swept under the rug because, of course, money. And yes, this is common sense, but the fruits of action can quite literally blind you. Why should online be any different than real life? At least that's how I feel. People love to hide behind a screen, and this is the same thing. Hiding behind the screen, but you would never actually do any of the things you're doing for the people that are buying your content because they're usually creeps. So anyways, another thing every creator will experience is unkind people if you're not willing to do what they want. And of course, that's a boundary that needs to be set as well. But it just goes to show that these people don't actually give a fuck about you. And they will say anything in order to get what they want. And that's who you want to pay and validate you. These fans know that they can do this too because you let them. A high value woman does not do this to herself. And if you consider yourself a high value woman, then you probably want a high value man. And this will not get you a high value man. It takes strength and self-assurance to be able to hold yourself to the same standards that you want in a partner, but also your own values and morals. This is something I thought about when I was starting my OnlyFans, but I brushed it off instead of pursuing what was really of value to me. I believe God intended for us to be in relationships and healthy families, but I'm telling you that choosing this path will not get you that, no matter what. I understand not every woman wants a family and children, but I've witnessed a lot of women change their minds as they get older. But at that point, they're too far deep. Girls have been fed the lie that this is the way of liberating yourself and that your body is valuable. That this is how you're gonna have autonomy over your own body. This is destructive and not a way to show feminism or women power, nor is it self-love. If you truly loved yourself, you wouldn't put yourself in this position. And the reason I think this is because this work takes a toll on the individual and can lead them to coping mechanisms that could negatively affect their sense of self. Also, for the longest time, it's sex workers that put themselves in danger of traffickers and abuse from their clients, whether that's in real life or online. Not to mention how porn in general is a huge societal issue and literally everything is sexualized now that it's like so annoying, and sex isn't even like a pure beautiful thing anymore. It's just like sex is everywhere, so now like people don't even want to have sex anymore. I think sexual education is important, but porn is so unrealistic. And that's why people are so unsatisfied in their sex lives and in their relationships. The main problem is that when you watch porn, it gives you a little hit like a drug. And then after a while, that drug isn't enough. And in order to feel that same high again, you need more and more. These OnlyFans girls have to do more and more extremes to stand out. And this affects people in real life too, because what will happen when things get so bad that in order for a man to even ejaculate, he has to watch something super extreme? What about when people just associate intimacy and sex with what's on a screen that's fake and just an act? Just because something is pleasurable does not mean that it's good. I've realized that in my last video, I was wrong to say anything along the lines of, if you're an OnlyFans creator and you're loving it, I'm happy for you and wish I felt that way. No, I don't wish for that anymore. And I'm actually sad for you if you choose this path. And I wish you knew how much God loves you and your friends and your family love you and your soul loves you. And that's why you get these feelings inside. My camera cut off, but that is why you get those wrong feelings inside, because you know that it's wrong. And we are all connected to God, whether you believe it or not, and that's why we feel these feelings. That's why it feels wrong, because it's going against God. Anyways, do you love yourself? Because I feel like if you do, then you wouldn't do this, because like I said before, objectifying and sexualizing yourself is not self-love. I don't think anybody should be promoting this, nor should girls be promoting this to other girls. Like when I was watching it, all the girls were so happy and they're promoting it like it's the best thing and that their lives are just so good, and just all these lies. I want to be the voice that tells you to, you know, stop and really think about this. And if you get that feeling that says that it's wrong and that you shouldn't do it, please listen to yourself. Anyways, that's not girl power, and that's not being a girl's girl or supporting women. It's also not supporting men either, and it's encouraging them to waste their money on this content. I've watched other videos, I think it's If Teenage Boys Were Honest, and they ask them about porn, and a lot of them are they feel very guilty about it. I'm sure just as the girl on the screen is feeling that guilt for doing this, the person that's buying it is feeling the same guilt, discomfort, disappointment with themselves, but again, they discredit how they truly feel, and they discredit their morals and their values to feed their addictions. I believe sex and intimacy is an act of love, devotion, and respect. One of the most amazing things you could do with someone. You're committed to them, and you're discovering them on a deeper level and learning about them, learning to pleasure them with each other, for each other. Casual sex and just giving yourself away for money is a very easy thing to do and requires nothing but sacrificing yourself, and therefore it doesn't have any real value. It's all temporary and will never create anything long-lasting, which I think what a lot of people deep down want is sustainability and fulfillment. There's a deeper issue at stake here, and I really want nothing more than to put light to it. We need change and spiritual enlightenment in this day and age. We've gone so far off the rails, I feel like. Throughout history and even like recently, people have claimed that we have needed the change that has brought us to where we are now, but now people are wanting to backtrack because things have just gone too far. There needs to be a fine line. Like, I understand everyone needs to be included and everyone wants to be heard, everyone wants to be accepted, but there has to be a line to where like what we know is wrong and what's right. And the reason I say this is because this is most definitely a part of the destructiveness of our communities and our society. The evil in the world wanted all of this to seem okay so that the illusion is even harder to spot. This is the illusion, and if we don't do something about it, then society could be broken because it's already tearing at the seams. So I'm laughing because, you know, I do believe that people need God. And the reason I say this is because when you see the world through God's eyes, then you see the world for what it is and for what we as human beings are. I think what's missing in our culture and society nowadays is spirituality and our individual relationships with a higher power. The people who truly and sincerely follow God are the same people that can see through all of this sexualization of everything that's all over the internet and in real life. So I admit that I was in this, and I'm so happy and blessed to know better now, and that I made the right choice to stop and choose myself and God over greed, selfishness, and lust, which I think we all know these things as sins, but it's for a good reason, because these things can bring negativity into our lives and ourselves. And I know sex work has been around for ages, forever, probably. And people are going to do it regardless. But I think there's a reason that society has a certain level of contempt for it. If people can be guided in the right direction, then maybe less people would choose this path. I think no matter what, and if you do sex work, you still are worthy of love, and that's why I wanted to make this video, is because not only share my experience and opinion, but also to spread love to these individuals. I really want you to know that I made this video in your best interest. Like, I want to help the people that are choosing this path to open their eyes to what they're actually doing to themselves. I think that if you have been or are in the porn or sex work industry, you can be redeemed if you sincerely put in the effort to do so. It's about how you move forward and how you live your present life, even if your past is distasteful. Honestly, admitting that you understand what you have done and are truly responsible for your actions and actually put an end to this life and turn your life around, that is admirable because it shows growth and change. If you've stuck around this long, thank you. I know this is a long video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let's keep it cordial down there. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!